This is a review of my time in the UK before attending the Watson seminar. Airplane meals, what can I say really? Even the layperson considers it garbage. So what can you do? You can buy a ticket to first class where you can get served higher quality foods like roasted chicken and vegetables, or perhaps even steaks. This option, however, would financially incapacitate most people. Alternatively, you can pack meals for the airline. This was not an option, as my flight from New York to London wasn't leaving from home. Option 3 was to suck it up. Fortunately, I was seated beside a gentleman who claimed to be a very picky eater. He traded his salad and entree for my dinner roll. I arrived at Heathrow Airport at approximately 9:30 in the morning London time, and the airport was gigantic. I was in for a bit of a shock when I realized that they drive on the right side of the vehicle and the left side of the road in the UK. I spent the first evening in a small town near the airport called Stanwell. Here they had a Sainsbury's, which is a popular budget-friendly grocer. I spent the equivalent of approximately $30 Canadian to purchase myself lunch, dinner, and breakfast for the following day. The best part about Europe is that they don't use GMOs like they do in North America. So even when you do buy low-cost food, you know that it's not genetically modified. And please don't get me started on genetically modified food. The following day, I took a beautiful train ride to Bath, Somerset. The weather was spectacular and I really had a chance to enjoy the sights. Because Bath has a lot of history, much of the buildings that covered Bath were either Georgian or Victorian and showed a more medieval look to them, or Gothic style look. All of this time spent walking around looking at buildings made me incredibly hungry. And so the feasting began, and I started with the Cornish Bakehouse, which serves something called Cornish pasties. I purchased a Thai chicken curry pasty and found a bench to sit down and consume it. According to the Cornish Bakehouse, this was their award-winning pasty. Unfortunately, I didn't find it remotely enjoyable. I was expecting something a little different. I found it very dense and chewy. But I finished it anyways because I don't like to waste food. I was still hungry, so I decided that perhaps I would try something else. I found myself at a place called Seafoods, which sells fish and chips and small pies. So I bought one of each. Unfortunately, I didn't take a great picture of the pie. You can see it wrapped here with an oil stain beside the fried fish. I finished all of the fish and half of the pie and decided to share the rest with some friends I had just met. I found a tea shop to sit down and contemplate what I had just done, and what I had just done was eat foods outside of what I consider healthy. I first created perspective by thinking about the bigger picture. Typically, I can count on one hand how many times I allow myself to veer off track in one year, and this year is no exception. Earlier this June, when I went to Prague, I had a sandwich, which means aside from this incident, I've veered off track once. I should also mention that I am somewhat gluten intolerant, and when consuming gluten, I experience a low-grade inflammatory reaction, which simply means that gluten is not well suited for my physiology. In my case, veering off track means consuming gluten, or consuming gluten and white sugar in the same meal, which tends to exponentially increase the inflammatory reaction. Number 2 was to re-trigger my motivation to continue eating healthy. And to do this, I begin by not beating myself up about what happened, but moving forward. It's important to realize that excellence and discipline in our daily habits is an attainable goal. However, striving for perfection is unrealistic and often leads to failure.
Welcome back. What's going on? Oh really? Oh really? Oh, you think so, huh? You gonna take my whole wallet? Yeah? That's what you get. Thank you very much. Little humans. So strange. Is that for me? Oh. Thank you.
The first thing I do upon return to my room is find my two favorite anti-inflammatory supplements. This is fish oil and curcumin. I learned the trick to use 6 capsules of curcumin after an inflammatory meal from a student of Charles Poliquin, who said he learned this from Charles Poliquin himself. I find the combination with fish oil incredibly effective. Because foods which create inflammation also tend to digest poorly, I recommend using a fiber product to help carry additional residues of that food out of the body effectively and efficiently. I also recommend consuming an alkalizing blend of your favorite green vegetable to help seal the deal. A greens drink will help to reduce any oxidative damage that may have incurred from the inflammation itself. Here's a photo of my fiber. The last thing I recommend one consume after eating foods which may be inflammatory to their body is pineapple. Pineapple is rich in an enzyme called bromelain, which acts as a natural anti-inflammatory. At breakfast the next morning, I was right back on track, and this felt good. I consistently eat breakfasts, which are lower in carbohydrates, to help my brain get started for the day. Stonehenge is a historical landmark that is shrouded in mystery. There are numerous theories and debates as to why and how the Stonehenge actually came about. I too have my own theories about its origins. All I can say is that it's a spectacular sight to see, and something I was able to experience and enjoy with a friend of mine. If you enjoyed today's content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel.